Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Does anybody remember where that little harmony comes from? Hello, 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 hello. There are no prizes, but if you could remember, just go ahead and put that in the chat, would you? Come on, we all remember that when we were growing up, we would hear them all say hello in harmony. Yes, yes, Susan M., the Three Stooges. Absolutely, that is it, the Three Stooges. Wow, you guys are really, really into, well, should I say, you guys excel with pop culture. So thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to plug in my PC. Okay, there we go. So, something just came up, and I don't know. Let me see. Let's wait and see if royal experts have the same meltdown. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and throw this at the top of the slides. Give me just a second. This literally just came up. And thank you so much for the ever dependable squatty who keeps us up to date with this stuff. So appreciative of it. There we go. Um, we are not a monolith. No man is an island unto themselves. Um, okay, let me bring that up, and then we can talk about it. Nope, nope, not that. Okay. And, what am I doing? Okay, got it. Hey now, don't dream it's over. They come to build a wall between us. Okay, M. Covington. Hello, squaddies. Nice to see everyone tonight. Thank you very much, M. Covington, and so nice of you to be here tonight. And also, thank you as always for being a member and for watching Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Blue Draws, Susan M., Lydia Washington, Judy Matassit. Okay. Olivia Johnson, Novi D., Mary H., Margaret Rowland. Okay, let's get on with it. So, check it out. Ah, beautiful ladies, right? Beautiful. But who is the one on the right side there? Well, she's an artist. She is an artist, and she has designed some very beautiful things. And anyway, we'll talk about her very soon. So apparently, uh, Earthshot Prize. Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at the dates on these. Uh, yeah, so February they said Cape Town. Oh, I guess the point of these two, let me see, Williams Earthshot Prize Award ceremony to be held in Cape Town. Yes, yes, yes. Established. Okay, so what the squatty was asking, she said, oh, hold on a second. Let me go straight over there. Let's wait and see if royal experts have the same racist meltdown about another African country as they just did with Nigeria. So that was the point that she was making, which is a good question because they definitely had a meltdown with Nigeria. And a few of them, well, at least one in particular, even said that the royal family would never visit Nigeria, even though we have evidence to the otherwise. Um, so, yeah, let's see what happens. So, Willie Leaks, when is he going there? Anyway, whenever he goes, let's wait for the meltdown. There probably won't be one. there would be all kind of praise and everything. And I mean, after all, as we know, Africa is his. He said so out of his own mouth. Harry gave us the scoop, and I believe him. Okay. All right. So, revealed how Kate has been driving force behind new early years project as she continues cancer treatment. Palace shares update on exited, and I'm sorry, excited, and excited princess's work as she remains out of public eye until she has the green light from the doctors. Okay, listen, I don't care what they say she's doing. I don't think there's any likelihood that she's doing anything in particular. This idea that Kate is at home doing work, we know that Kate doesn't care to do work, um, whether she's at home or out in public. She is not that person. And I believe the only reason why this article comes out today, of all days, is because of her absence at the Chelsea Flower Show, and, or should I say, her very conspicuous absence from the Chelsea Flower Show. And of course, because there has been some new speculation as to why she has had medical treatment, allegedly. And of course, I have to caution by saying allegedly, because I do not have concrete proof as to what type of medical procedures that Kate has had since, Christmas Day. But Murad Morali says that he has colleagues that are, or friends that are in medicine, right? That these are, he said, and not just one person, but several of them, not in the same conversation, but as he has, I guess, been investigating, he claims that um, she had portions of her organs removed, her digestive system, her whatever. I don't know which. I can't name the parts, but it was pretty severe. And allegedly, there's just enough there to survive. And I've known people who've had, um, let's see, where part of, and of course, this is all speculation. Nobody knows for sure what Kate has had. But if it was that particular procedure where part of your bowels or part of your intestines become um, pinched or blocked, it can actually cause parts of that organ, of that portion of the stomach, to just die off, right? Not unusual. I can think of three people that in my lifetime has gone through that. But when they healed, they went on to lead some very normal lives, and up to the point of actually gaining weight after the surgery. So if that is the one, it's not the worst thing in the world. But if it is true that upon the operation that there was cancer present, then of course that would be a very different outcome. But I'm inclined to believe that whatever it was definitely life threatening, because just her appearance alone around Christmas, and it was enough to say, okay, yeah, this girl is not well. She's not well. I mean, she's been aging rapidly for various reasons, and she has been doing things to try to combat the aging process. and that has had mixed results. But barring all of that, just before Kate went away from public view, that was when she looked her worst. Her clothes were just, it was like her clothes was swimming on her. Just nothing fit. Nothing fit. So there was something wrong. I don't know if it's likely this or that or whatever, but I do know that something was terribly wrong and that she appeared to be very sick to me. So that was one thing. The other one is um, that around Christmas, she decided she didn't want to be a part of life anymore, to put it as euphemistically as possible. Um, and that was the problem. So whatever it was very serious. And I don't think we'll ever get the entire story. But as Murad has said, and so many other squatties have said, as I have said, that there are young children who need their mother. And so we hope that she can have whatever quality of life that's possible and that she can be an active um, part of her children's lives. That is very important. Oh, thank you, Lady Rose. Agent Burrow believes there was still something nefarious that happened. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for being here tonight, VS Speaks Royally. I have been thinking about you for the past couple of days. I'm so glad you're here. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say. But because um, they won't tell us what it is, it has left her wide open for speculation. I don't feel that it's unfair to speculate because she is a public person, right? She has a public position. And the idea that she's entitled to her privacy, well, I have thoughts about that. Um, that has to do with the lack of privacy that was given to Meghan, of course, for a variety of things, and that I know for certain. I'm not even going to say probably. I know for certain that if things were the other way around, they would do everything they could to make a mockery of anything that could happen in the Sussex family. And so, for that reason, not just for being petty, but for that reason, because I believe it to be true that they would have done much the same, if not, no, they would have done worse. They would have done worse. So, is she entitled to that type of privacy? I say no. I say no. Her husband is a future head of state. Um, and as an American, given our tradition with heads of state and these matters, I've grown up in a system where there has been full disclosure. Like, for instance, when Ronald Reagan had his polyps removed, that shocked a lot of people, but he was considered very brave for sharing that information with the public. And so now it is something that is expected. So, no, I'm not a taxpayer or a subject of the king, and I don't live in that system. But from my point of view, I think that if you're taking public money, um, then you are obligated to disclose everything. That's what I think. The only people in that household that deserve privacy and that I would insist have privacy are the children. But that's just my opinion. It may be a little heavy handed for some people's taste, but I'm just considering how they have operated in the past, where the people that I love and support have the way they have been treated. I don't want anything less for them. I want them to be scrutinized to every degree possible where their health is concerned, because it is a matter of um, of the public's business. It just is. So anyway, that's just how I feel about it. And for the Rangers, or even for the squatties, if you think I'm being unfair, go ahead and put it in the chat. And I promise you that, I probably won't read it, but okay, let's move on. Let me see what you all have to say. Esmeralda Dillon, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me see. I understand, Susie Q. I understand. I'm struggling with that because I just can, and especially as a Scorpio, and just as a human being, to see someone benefit from someone else's pain over and over again, and to say nothing, to do nothing. And we all know what happened with the wedding. And I do believe that um, both of the Cambridges played an active part in sabotaging the wedding, and that they did not make a welcoming environment possible for Meghan when she got there. And I do believe that between the two of them, that they were just satisfied to see Harry lonely and unhappy for the rest of his life, never fulfilling his goal of having a family. So, and I'll just say, I'm not speaking for Harry and Meghan. I'm speaking as someone who has witnessed this hate campaign. And I think that, no, I believe that Charles and Camilla, William and Kate are a central part of that campaign to make the Sussexes as unhappy as possible. I do believe that. And it is not my place to decide who should be punished and who should not. And I'm not even saying that this is a punishment. I'm just saying it's a reality. And I struggle with my feelings about it, as quite a few other people do, because of the brutality of the mistreatment. I believe that the the members of that family and their courtiers meant to chase Meghan away. She was not welcome. They had a whole pretense about welcoming her, but she was not welcome. She was not welcome. And when they had the opportunity to hurt her, they did. They caused her a great deal of stress, and I believe that was deliberate. But again, that is my opinion. But that being said, I wish her Kate well, and I hope that she is able to be with her family, and that whatever this illness is, I hope that there is a component that brings forth reflection, because I do think reflection is necessary at a point like this. Um, who knows why it happened? It's just life. And like I said, if it is something related to that, then I've known people that have had those kind of obstructions and such, and there's no reason to believe that you can't be normal again. Now, of course, being out of public view suggests that appearance wise, she just is not comfortable with being in the public. So let me see. Thank you, Heather Stroud, rather. Thank you so much for that. They messed up when they started to lie. She could have stayed away and not been missed until the fake photos started popping up. Well, you know what, Lydia? There, the okay. I wasn't old enough to know what a pregnancy for Queen Elizabeth was like, but I do believe that in the old days there was just a sudden absence of the female family members during their pregnancy. They would not even say that. There are no images of Queen Elizabeth pregnant. You have to remember there are no images of her pregnant. She would just be away from the camera, and then they would put a public service announcement saying that she safely delivered another child, and that was that, right? Um, and I also believe that the idea of having a witness at the royal birth, bringing over these ministers in the government or whomever, I believe that stopped with Queen Elizabeth, but didn't she have a witness for a couple of those births? I don't recall. But anyway, so I guess my point is they could have just removed her from public work, and that would have sufficed. Um, but again, you know what? I guess the whole root of why they've had problems with hiding Kate from the public is because of the rollout itself. Because I cannot wrap my head around the idea that two surgeries were announced on the same day. And just by coincidence, it's the two people that were accused of being racist. Unrelated, I'm sure, but just coincidence, the two people that were reportedly assumed, mentioned in Omit's book as being racist. Okay, fine. So again, those are two very strong coincidences. And then follow up with the third coincidence. In both cases, they promise that it was not cancer, only for Charles to come back on February 5th and say, guess what? Got cancer. And then, what was it? Was it May the 20? No, not May, but April 22nd? No, March 22nd. Yeah, March 22nd. Then that's when Kate has her Renaissance Jesus moment where she's sitting on the bench like some Renaissance Jesus painting and she's telling us about cancer. So, again, three incredible coincidences. Three. But one of those people is working every day and nearly twice her age. The other one, her, Kate, it has been hidden from public view. And so it has all the ingredients of a conspiracy, right? And I'm just going to say I'm still struggling because I'm so frustrated and even hurt for the way Meghan has been treated. And I would be lying to say otherwise, but I think that she was part of it. I think she was part of it. And it just like, wow. And now we are where we are. Interesting. That is so interesting. Not wishing anything bad on anyone, but that is just very interesting. And honestly, folks, I can't stop thinking about it. I cannot stop thinking about it. Every day, I'm trying to make sense out of what's happened since the 17th of January when they announced not one, but two surgeries. When they announced that both did not involve cancer, only for them to come back and say, guess what? It is to do with cancer. So why would they make an announcement on the same day? The same day, hours apart. Because if they're as important to the public as they say they are, it seems like that would be overload for public consumption. It could have waited a week for Charles to say something. It did not have to be. He could have just discreetly have gone to the hospital and then come out a week later, from home and just say, "Hey, I had this surgery or that surgery." But to do those announcements hours apart, I just cannot help but think that it they felt it necessary to raise the alarm so that we're not looking at something else. That's what I think. That part right there, the back-to-back announcements, I've never heard of such a thing where two very high-profile people are involved. Unless you're in a war and they are casualties of war, what was the urgency to put them both out on the same day, hours apart? Susan M., thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Yep, that is very, very peculiar. And I never can think about that and not wonder, why did it play out like that? Why did it play out like that? Ooh, well, let me see. Well, one thing's for sure, Carlene, because of her moment on the bench, it definitely shut it down. It shut down most public debate about it. It really did shut it down. Whosever idea that was a stroke of genius. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm struggling, Black Queen. I don't know that you're I don't know that you're struggling as much as I'm struggling, but I'm sure you feel something very strong just the same. Let me see. No, I'm good. I don't interfere with the ancestors. All right, Esmeralda. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Well, I see there is people are firmly um, entrenched in their feelings, and I can't say that I blame anybody. I totally understand where you all are coming from. Similarly, I can wrap my head around the fact that there are zero photographs, that is, of Kate entering or exiting the hospital. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Yeah, yeah. Her parents didn't go to the hospital. Her siblings didn't go to the hospital, and what's her name? Rebecca English. Rebecca English had this entire, um, what do you call it? This narrative that she conjured up, saying that William will move heaven and earth to be with Kate, right? And then it goes, she went on to say that, um, oh gosh, I don't remember the order of these things, but I know the heaven and earth came very early. And then amongst all of the other writers, we heard that her mother was going to rally to her support and that her siblings were going to rally to her support. And then what about that strange thing about Adelaide Cottage is one of the coldest places on earth and that she would not be comfortable recovering there? What was the point of giving the public that information? Was that making the excuse why she could not go to Adelaide Cottage and that they had to do something? And especially, it sounds as though they set up some type of medical facility in Animal Hall. I just don't understand the need to announce these things, because by announcing them as though you're trying to distract us from something else, you're only introducing more speculations and more conspiracies. So they have not helped the cause with a lot of this very confusing and over the top dripping of information. Not our fault. It is not the public's fault. This is something that they've done to themselves. And when I say them, I mean Kensington Palace and the Royal Rota that serves them. They wanted a narrative, and a narrative they got. The big problem they have is that no one is buying it. No one believes it. Either people don't believe it or they don't care. I don't think there's any gray areas. Either they don't believe it or they don't care. Yeah. You know, the lead up to all of this was the business Barbie type of um yeah, if you've seen the Barbie movie, then you know that there were versions of Barbie for every type of career. Um and business Barbie had the briefcase, the power suits, that kind of thing. And but underneath it all was a very shallow individual. It was a Barbie, for goodness sakes. And so Barbie dresses the part, but that's not who Barbie is. Barbie is, easily, uh, should I say, they can create a new character for Barbie just by putting a different outfit on her. And so, no offense to Kate, but that seems like what they were doing with her. She didn't need to really know or care about these things. She just had to dress up and play the part. And I could imagine that would cause a lot of stress for anyone. And then the whole thing of dressing up like Meghan, this whole fixation with Meghan 24 hours a day. And maybe that's not her idea. Maybe, I mean, I do believe that she's been the ultimate mean girl, but I think a lot of the pettiness, William has taken the lead. William finances the pettiness, and that seems to be the direction that things moved, was just Operation Petty. So I can imagine that caused her a great deal of stress. You think it's connected to the Middleton fortune or the lack thereof? Yes, preventative treatment, which in some people's opinion does not exist. That's why I was very careful to say mention cancer. Mention cancer. Unless you tell us where and what, then that leaves things open for speculation. It leaves it open for speculation. But I think the one thing where I would say I could understand the need for privacy if she how do I put this delicately, if her what's left of her innards requires her to have frequent trips to the water closet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That if she's having problems like that, then I could imagine that, yeah, I wouldn't want people to know, because I wouldn't want people looking at me and wondering, okay, where are we in this process? You know, how are you um how are you functioning? And that everything you wear is going to be scrutinized, because people are going to wonder, are you using this device or that device? Now, that would be a reason to stay out of public view. But still, I don't think there's a good reason why they just can't tell us what it is. Oh, and that's the fourth thing. The fourth odd thing that she and Charles have in common, is the inability to name the cancer, or the presence of cancer, the inability to name it. So, and maybe it's her call, maybe it is not her call. Maybe the courtiers, maybe William, have decided what could or could not um, be shared with the public, how far they were willing to go with it. Maybe that came from someone else. Well, okay, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Definitely possible. Is that one stole the other's thunder? I hear you. I hear you. Levy says, Baron, I wish for her and them nothing less than what they wish for Harry and Meghan. Baron, they lied. Cancer brings sympathy. Those two races needed sympathy. But it seemed like they were winning the charm offensive when they, before Christmas, when you remember the one for all for one, when Kate and Charles pushed back so, strongly against the notion of racism, when they found every little black child they could in all of the realms to get them on camera interacting with the two of them, that seemed to bring them a lot of popularity. I mean, they kept taking those polls, and if the polls that they share are to be believed, there's no need for that, because they're so popular. However, we all know that around that same time, that for the first time, the royal family as a whole was polling at 48%. 48%, which means they were underwater in the polls. Now, William and Kate polled strongly, allegedly. They had some strong numbers individually, but as an institution, that was the first time they were underwater. And I can only imagine that they have polls that are different from the polls that they share, because they keep saying that Harry and Meghan are not popular in America, but yet when we see them interacting with the public, there's another story there. There is another story. it doesn't reflect the narrative that comes from the Royal Rota and from the, you know, various other news, um, and why they're taking a poll for Harry and Meghan who are not present. I would love to see how they introduce those polls to people, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who do not believe that Harry and Meghan are still royal. They do not believe that they're part of the family. The exact reasons why they left are obviously unknown to the vast majority of people. They have the made up stuff from the Royal Rota, and that's all they've heard because it is so frequently repeated, time and time again. Oh, Meghan just didn't want to do the work. And then after you push all of this garbage out there, and then you follow that with a poll to make sure that people are angry and bitter by the time the poll is introduced to them, it's as though they're leading the witness, as they say. But it's a campaign. It is a campaign of hatred. So that is why, as I say, I'm struggling with my humanity, where all of the people in that family are concerned. I struggle with that. It's not so easy for me to be kind and considerate with them. I remember when I was younger, and the announcement came across about Reagan when when they had that attempt against him, and I remember that um, one of the younger people like myself was actually, there wasn't just one, it was several. They were celebrating. They were celebrating because Ronald Reagan's campaign was loaded with dog whistles. And there were a lot of Black people that were afraid of Reagan becoming president, that he might try to push us back into Jim Crow, that he might try to push us back into the 1950s era. And there was some very legitimate reasons why Ronald Reagan was so feared when he ran for president. And of course, if you announce your presidency, when you announce you're running for president for the first time in the county where the Ku Klux Klan had been assembled for the first time, where it took place for the first time, what are you saying to people? Just like when Trump announced his second run for the presidency, he does it. What was it? It was in where was Black Wall Street? Isn't that where he went for his announcement? And he wanted to do it on Juneteenth, or was it just the idea of doing it Juneteenth? But I think, to add insult to injury, he wanted to go to the very place where African Americans' way of life was destroyed, and hundreds of lives with it. So, what are you saying to the public? There's a lot of dog whistles. Let's see. Hazel Jones, that is something to consider, because if you all remember the last Chelsea Flowers show, Kate showed up earlier than Charles and Camilla. And Charles and Camilla was supposed to have this beautiful day. And the press seemed to had seemed to have like exhausted themselves putting all this effort into covering Kate. And the photos that came from the Chelsea Flowers show, instead of the papers having images of Charles and Camilla, there were mostly images of Kate. William did not attend. And so Kate stole their thunder. She even wore a pink dress. And believe me, wearing pink is passive aggressive behavior. That is passive aggressive. Remember when Hillary Clinton got in trouble um, for saying, what did you want me to do? Stay at home baking cookies rather than be a career woman? Remember she got in trouble? And of course, when Bill Clinton was running for his second term, Hillary Clinton gave an interview to the press, which she was avoiding the press because they were scrutinizing her. So it was really bad. Oh, I know why she got in trouble. It was the universal health care. And so Hillary put on a white headband, some Miss Debbie snack cake slippers, and a pink dress, looking like Alice in Wonderland. And she gave this interview, and she was very, very toned down. And they did that deliberately so that she did not look as intimidating with her power suits and her very sharp wit and intelligence, which was a big turnoff for a lot of people. So that's why I say wearing the pink is passive aggressive. So showing up at the Chelsea Flowers show, as Kate did, that pink was designed to steal attention from Charles and Camilla. And William, hands were clean because he didn't even go. That was orchestrated. I don't know why they did that. Seemed like a really dangerous thing to do, but they did. Especially to Camilla, because everybody knows Camilla is going to get even. Everybody knows Camilla is going to get even. Let's see. Huh. Oh, you mean Thomas Kingston, Adrian? Thomas Kingston? Well, that, yeah, that's the other reason why there is likely desperation from that institution is because there's no good explanation for Thomas Kingston, someone who seemingly had everything going for him and who was connected to to Pippa for one, and of course we don't know how close he and Kate was. There's no evidence for that, but William's behavior at that time was very peculiar. And I'll say again, the fact that five different Royal Rota reporters or royal reporters simultaneously tweet that William's absence from Constantine's memorial service had nothing to do with Thomas Kingston. Are you trying to make us think about it? I don't get what the point was. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was talking about it. The only reason why people's head pivoted in that direction was because you told us that William had nothing to do with it. I'm like, seriously? Let me see. Amber Rowan. Well, now she is colliding. Oh, you stuck on me with that one. Thank you, Amber Rowan. Uh, uh, I don't know. But again, it would explain a whole lot if that were true, and it would also explain why people are forbidden from talking about it. But the medical community, among certain professionals, is a very small community. And there was also the curious case of the medical records. Why? was her medical records targeted and not Charles? Charles is the head of state. Why would they target her medical records? Who was trying to prove something? Thank you again for the super chat. Who was trying to prove something? Um, yeah, you mean like they removed their energy mask and all of a sudden those people began to bare their reptilian faces and their non-eyelid eyes and that they're not humans after all. Oh boy. I'm always looking to see if they're going to do like a gecko and like lick their own eyeballs. If I see that, I will never speak about that family again. All I need to see is one of them just, stick their tongue out and lick their eyeballs like a gecko. And I think I would flip out the chair backwards. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer, thank you so much for being here. Okay. Uh-oh, what did I miss? What did I miss? Hmm. Okay. Yeah, run like the wind. Run like the wind. Well, I always say that the Royal Rota is a protection racket. So these are the photos that were accompanied that article today. That article was designed to show Kate in her element or her pretending to be someone who is all about business and improving the lives of children with the early years. So, power suit, power suit, power suit. And then, of course, interacting with children of color. Check. And then the last photo in the group was Christmas, which we can say is the last time that without any editing, without any AI, without any hijinks and clever, smoke and mirrors, that was the last time that we can say that Kate was actually seen, publicly seen. And it's the last time we've seen her with her children, right? And so that was the 25th of December. The 28th, there was that motorcade that went speeding to the hospital from Sandringham, right? And to date, no one from the palace and no one from the media has given an explanation for the motorcade. And fast forward to January 17th, that's when we had the announcements that certainly was not cancer related. February 5th, Charles has cancer. But curiously enough, and here I go again, the paper on the right side, Kate's cancer ordeal, it would be another, month and a half before Kate would mention cancer or whoever mentioned it. That is dated February 5th, that issue, February 5th, which happens to be the day that Charles surprised everyone and announced his cancer, but he won't tell us which kind. Okay? So, again, this is the spread of photos that they wanted the public to see. Kate handling business, but instead of wearing power suits, she's doing it from the seclusion of one of, I don't know, 4 homes that are available to her. So again, this is the last time we saw Kate. She put on a brave face, but she was very ill. Oh, that one. Let me see. Do I have that one? Uh, well, let me see what I have here. Let me see what I have. Okay. Huh. Well, oh my goodness, it's been so long since I played that one. Maybe this is it. Okay, maybe that was it. But I know there's the one where they're sitting by the fire like a Christmas scene and he touched her and she jumped. She kind of nudged him away with her shoulder. So I know there's that one. Let's see. And I watched one of those Royal Rota people over the weekend, and he was saying that it's been a long time since a Prince of Wales was in a very strong, loving relationship with a Princess of Wales. And I was just thinking, like, how do they fit into that? How do they fit into that? Because the coldness that they project with one another. Anyway, with that person, all credibility had gone out the window at that point. Huh, what is this one? What is this one?
Have you got a comment about the Scobie books and what's always be blessed. Did you want us? Did you want to be a Morgan show last night, Your Royal Highnesses? Right.
I do apologize for the flash photography. So okay, you know what? I'm glad I did play that. But that shows you how their persona had degraded to the point because they don't yell questions to the royal family. That is very rare that reporters would yell questions. And that evening, they got the full force of the, cameras clicking and questions shouted. And that is very rare. And so, yeah, the whole thing about, the racist stuff that was mentioned in Omen's book definitely took a toll. It definitely took a toll. Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Who said that body language? If they would ever have the body language experts scrutinize the two of them, the way that they drag those people out to try and go after the Sussexes, I'm telling you, there is so much there. But I don't know one body language person who has ever given the Cambridges or the Wellses a moment's grief because nobody cares about them. They're just like Melba toast. Whatever you put on it, that's the flavor profile. Oh, I don't know who the fourth kid is. You mean the one that has like that? What is that on her head? It looks like she's got like some kind of Christmas ornament in her hair. Huh, who said that was a good idea? Oh, well, let us move on. So, Kate's cancer chemo crisis. Kate's cancer chemo crisis. This is the National Enquirer. This is the most recent edition, I believe. Hair falling out in clumps, battling nausea and exhaustion. Williams fears. Isn't that something? That's the same thing they said on the 5th of February. Terrifying diagnosis. What happens next? William sick with fear. William's fear. That's twice that they've mentioned William's fear. And the Inquirer, I don't know where they got the information from, but they were right. They were right. They were the first publication that mentioned Kate's cancer crisis. They were the first ones that mentioned it. Oh, Zara Tyndall's daughter? Oh, okay. That's a Tyndall kid. That's the one that was, didn't she belt Mike Tyndall in the head or something like that? And then, of course, the Inquirer said, after Charles said that he had cancer, then the next issue of the Inquirer, that's when they were like, Charles has 6 months to live. Well, he seems to look okay now. Kate's secret surgery is worse than anyone knows. Now, let me see. I can. Oh, that was that was a star on February 5th. So the Inquirer just came out and said cancer on February 5th. And again, that was about, I think 3 weeks or something like that before Kate actually admitted the cancer herself. Or was it like 6 weeks, something like that? And then, of course, so the Star seems to be of the opinion worse than anyone thought. Well, um, the American publications, which the Star, the Inquirer, and the Globe, they are American tabloids. But unlike the British tabloids, they only run one copy a week, and most Americans do not believe what they say. Most Americans do not believe what they say, which is very opposite of the tabloids in the United Kingdom. Yeah, Mabel Jones, there's so much that cannot be explained with the behavior of that institution. William seemed to have freaked out and disappeared. Kate has been missing since Christmas. Charles, Charles, and then of course Camilla seemed to be having the time of her life. Whatever was or was not happening, Camilla was having the best time in her life. Okay. So, Petronella Wyatt. If you don't know what this is, that's a Petronella Wyatt. Petronella seems to have decided to tell us once again about her love life. Let me explain. Feminism has left middle aged women like me single, childless, and depressed. Is this a call for help? We were taught to prioritize our careers over marriage, and now we are paying for it. Who is we? First of all, we have to establish who is we, because that's not everybody's story. There are plenty of feminists like Rachel Meghan Markle, who is happily married with children. Um, I don't know that I would consider Petronella Wyatt a feminist, and I have a good reason for that. This is the same Petronella who said Clarkson has been punished enough. If ITV drops him, it will set a dangerous precedence with Harry and Meghan able to pick off at will journalists they don't like. Um, Again, I am from the US and we don't have to do anything. There is language in a contract that says if you are bringing bad publicity, if you become a distraction to our network, we're going to get rid of you, right? You start losing things, starting with your job. And it's the reason why Sharon Osbourne is no longer on American television. It's the reason why Hoghead Piers Morgan is no longer on American television, right? So, um, as far as Jeremy Clarkson is concerned, he shouldn't be on television anywhere. But yet, she was willing to defend him and uphold Jeremy Clarkson, the person who said those awful, nasty, filthy things about Meghan. She's standing up for Jeremy Clarkson, and she was silent about the verbal assault, the verbal abuse committed by Jeremy Clarkson to Meghan. That's a feminist. That's your idea of being a feminist. The feminists that they are, meaning Petronella, Rachel Johnson, Boris Johnson's sister. I'm going to say Petronella says the craziest things. She's a weirdo, but she and Rachel Johnson both consider themselves feminists, but neither one of them have stood up and have faced down any of these dog whistle racists that have gone after Meghan. They don't want to hear it. They say nothing positive about Meghan. And if they come close to saying something positive, it is always followed with some snark and negativity. That is not my idea of a feminist. A feminist is the former First Lady who went on television after the Sussexes left, after the Oprah interview or whichever one it was, and I think it was after the interview, and she said, "Yeah, I can see it." She acknowledged the racism and the abuse from the royal family. Hillary Clinton acknowledged it. I can't say that for all the first ladies, but Hillary Clinton did. That's a feminist. The feminist also takes care of men. They also take care of men. They speak out when a man has been wronged, just as they speak out for women. But instead, with Petronella, among other people, all we get is dog whistles, insulting comments, negative, nasty, snarky statements. If that is the reason why she's alone and childless, please stop telling us about it. We're not interested. As a matter of fact, let me see. Yeah. So right here. Wait, no, that's not the article, but this is the second article that she's had where I don't have the other article, but yeah, this is the second time in about a month that she's been beating the same drum. The second time. That's why I was so curious. Why again today? Why are you telling us your business? You are a negative person and you're alone because of how awful you are. That's why you're alone, because of how awful you are. And she is an awful, awful person. And I'm not even going to bother sharing with you. I just shared with you guys a bunch of slides making my case about Petronella. So I'm going to spare you tonight. But if you have not seen them, I forget which day it was. Let's see. Okay, let me find the. I am looking for that other slide of hers where she just said the same thing. Just said the same thing. Anyway, okay. I forgot to put it up. My bad. But yeah, she just said that. Let me see. Huh. Okay. I made a mistake. Oh, okay. Never mind. Never you mind. Oh well. Okay. I'm gonna move on. Oh, that's why. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it. Bum, 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 ba-da. Bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-da. Bum, bum, ba-da. Oh well, blew it. Okay, let's move on. All right, so take a look here, you guys. Take a look here. Look at that beautiful handbag. No, it's not the same article, actually. It's not the same. Oh, no. Let me see. This one is dated. Oh, okay. That's the April 25th. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. You're right about that. There was a new one today. There was a new one today. That's what I thought that was the new one. That's actually the old one. Thank you for pointing that out. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry. Ta-da! I'm single, childless, alone. Feminism has failed me and my generation, writes Petronella. Every Monday, I meet with another group of female friends in London restaurant. We sit at a table near the window and discuss our lives. We have many things in common. You mean to tell me there's other people that are as hard up and lonely as you are? Petronella, what can I say? You should be a nicer person and maybe you wouldn't be alone. I'm telling you, she has been very brutal. She has been very brutal with Meghan. Okay, there you go. There's a better one. That's what I was looking for. You know why I did not put this slide in? I forgot about it. I guess I thought the other one was it. But thank you so much. You have helped me a lot. But yes, so this is today, and the other one was from April, and she is singing the same tune. Nobody can make Petronella Wyatt do anything. She's incredibly self-opinionated, outspoken, selfish, good at attacking anyone. Thank you. I thought Petronella was a conservative humping. She is no feminist. In fact, she'd rather dislike women humping someone else's husband. Allegedly, I know. I heard about that one. I heard about that one. Uh, exactly. It does not mean a career seeking woman. It does not mean someone who has a career outside of their home or works outside of their home. But I would say that at the very root of feminism means that you help to empower other women and you stand up for women's rights. I think that is just like the most essential part of being a feminist. But most of these writers and what do you call it? These royal rota, royal reporters, and such, they are not feminists. When Meghan did the guest edit of the Vogue magazine, do you remember how they were upset because Meghan did not include Queen Elizabeth? Queen Elizabeth is not the epitome of feminism. Yes, she was a very strong, powerful woman. She had so much going for her because of her birthright. She just happened into a job and she stayed on that same job for 70 years. She managed her position in this world effectively. She didn't give too much and she didn't give too little. She didn't say much and she didn't say too little. She didn't do anything. She was a figurehead and that was her strong suit. She was not out there standing up for women and defending women. And so as a woman who did not necessarily um, have real power, right, or definitely did nothing to empower other women, there would be no reason to refer to her as a feminist. And it's the same for these reporters like Petronella. You are not a feminist. You're not. You're a gatekeeper for conservative white men. That's what you are. You're a gatekeeper. A lot of the white feminists are gatekeepers. They tend to um, hate black men. They are very cruel to black women, and just because someone calls themselves a feminist, you cannot assume that they're not racist at the same time. There are quite a few gays that are racist. You think gay, you would think, wow, they're gay. They should understand discrimination. But instead, there are some gay men and women that are extremely racist, extremely racist. And just like in the greater public, in the wider world, the same way that white men seem to be the central power in the Western world when it comes to the gay community, white men seem to dominate. They're not the most outspoken, but they have the money and they have the power. Now, that's enough about Hollywood. That's enough about Hollywood. Anyway, thank you, Susie Q. I totally lost that slide. Okay, let's move on. That we're done. So anyway, look at that bag. Look at that bag. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? So I do believe that that was a gift to Meghan. Look forward to her carrying that bag at some point. If Meghan doesn't carry that bag, I'm going to be very angry. I am going to be very upset with her. So she has to carry that bag. She has to use that bag. That is beautiful. I mean, the play of texture and the tones and everything. Um, Superb. Absolutely superb. Yep, that is a winner. That is a winner. Let me see. I'm gonna make myself comfortable. Give me 1 second, you guys. My butt was starting to hurt. My butt was starting to hurt. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's much better. That is much, much better. Really? Proud Mary, bring the dirt. Now that is some tea. Huh, okay. Blaming feminism for being single and childless is dumb. Well, I mean, Anastasia, you saw her face. Don't she look dumb? Petronella, just look in the mirror and see why no man wants you. Hell, no women want you either. You are a deplorable. You are a deplorable and dangerous person, and that's not attractive to anyone. Oh, deranged. I'm sorry, deranged. Uh-huh. I heard about her proclivity for being a side piece. Very chic, right? Very chic. Très chic. Look at how proud Harry is. Harry is so proud of his wife. A wife that he can be proud of. It's not just enough that he has a wife, but that he's proud of her. So proud of her. He said she's capable of anything. Okay, and there you can see her. She's still talking about that bag. I love that for her. I love that for her. It's beautiful. And here we go. So this is what I had for the thumbnail. My wish is for Meghan Markle to carry my bags. What is it? Ronker Rauch? Ronker Rauch 5 years ago. I'm not saying her name right, I suppose. In an interview with The Guardian, I dared to dream aloud, expressing my wish that Meghan Markle would carry my padlock bag. Little did I know the universe was not only listening, but conspiring to make it a reality. This journey is a testament to the power of writing goals, transforming mere wishes into unwavering desires, turning can't into can, and dreams into concrete plans. Remember, don't just think it, ink it. Oh, okay. Don't just think it, ink it. So write down your goals, write down your dreams. Don't just think it, ink it. I love it. She gets a bell for that. Don't just think it, ink it. Oh, maybe it's feminism, or maybe it's. Thank you, YM Droid. Thank you so much for that. Oh. Anyway, she's beautiful, right? I know I'm not saying her name right, but she's beautiful. And take a look here. And you can see Meghan is holding another one of those bags. Wait, you know what? I'm so sorry. I got that wrong. This is a different lady. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad I caught myself. This is a different lady that gave Meghan a bag. Oh, I'm so sorry. How did I confuse the two of them? But this is the lady with the padlock bag. There we go. So sorry about that. Um, but yeah, so that's the one that's on the thumbnail. But she is beautiful. But she's not just limited to designing handbags. She also has other artistic skills. Take a look there on the left side. She made that. She made that herself. Oh, really? She posted about it on TikTok, and I said, drop your Instagram handle. And she did. Her bags are beautiful. Now I need $500 to get one. Oh, thank you for sharing that information. I've never seen her before today, but she's very beautiful. And take a look here. Let me see. Didn't just offer them a glimpse into my late grandfather Isaac's Fedoyibo pass. I gifted them a piece of his enduring legacy that is, in the form of pages of his cherished book, A Stroke of Unbelievable Luck. I found more than just tales of wartime valor. I unearthed a legacy waiting to be reborn, a canvas for a new chapter of inspiration. Through their eyes, may they see not just a portrait, but a testament to the indomitable spirit of a man who found fortune amidst the chaos of war. My grandfather Isaac, uh, the best grandfather in the world, who I was privileged to call grandpa, lives on not only in the pages of his book, but also in the hearts of those who carry his memory forward, painting new narratives of courage, resilience, and unwavering hope. Wow, that is beautiful. Wow, I think not only is she a gifted designer, but she's a gifted writer. Is there anything that she doesn't do well? That is, I like that. So I think the bag that she has there, I'm seeing something that looks like denim. And I'm very curious about the handles of her bag. I wonder if she had those handles designed just for her bags. So maybe that is the one that she gifted to Meghan. And then this other lady, I'm so sorry I don't have her name. I think I had it, but then I clipped it out of I squeezed it out of the image and made the image larger. But she does some great work too. Wow. That is very nice. It must, that is so cool to design something and then to see people wearing or using your products. How cool is that? How cool is that? Wow. Oh, well, I wish both of them the best. This lady, and also Ronker Ouch, Ranker Ouch. Anyway, I wish her well. Okay. Now, one of the squatties reminded us about this relief of flooding in Nigeria in response to the catastrophic flooding in Nigeria, which has displaced over 1 million people, destroyed homes and farmland, and taken the lives of hundreds. Archwell Foundation has worked to urgently meet this climate disaster and humanitarian crisis. To provide this vital support, Archwell Foundation has donated to Save the Children and UNICEF Nigeria, two organizations providing help and medical support to those who have been displaced or affected by the floods. And so that was back in October of 2022. Well, um, fast forward to May of 2024, and there's the Sussexes there in Nigeria. And that is what is so very different about their way of doing a not a royal tour is that they have relationships, they have connections to these organizations. They have been very instrumental themselves in funding and also helping them to strategize, to connect with other people. The Sussexes do a lot. Like, remember when they had the Global Citizens and Meghan and Harry? They asked Meghan and Harry to help, and next thing you know, Meghan and Harry were calling all kind of contacts that they knew to help Global Citizen. The guy was on Australian television. He did an interview, and he spoke about how motivated and energized they was. So very cool. Now, continuing with the theme from yesterday, um, I did not know that there was a third kiss. I saw the one at the wedding. I saw the one on the steps, but I don't recall them kissing in the carriage. I don't recall another kiss in the carriage. But okay, there you go. And then Amelia E. Noyes. Well, Amelia Noyes, she says happy anniversary to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. But what artistic expression did she use to say happy anniversary? Ta-da! Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? I love it. She has truly outdone herself with this one. I love it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This one is special. I love it. What do you all think? I think this one is special. I mean, there's the Montecito tree back there, right? At least I think so. But yeah, very nice. So hats off to um, Amelia. Hats off. And then there is this day style. Um, when Harry and Meghan came calling, or as they say in the southern United States, when Meghan and Harry came a calling. See, they're not speaking proper English. It's not came calling, it's when Harry and Meghan came a calling. You got to throw that in there because that lets the reader know how exciting it is. Harry and Meghan came a calling. Oh man, I know it's a bit late for all this, isn't it? But yeah, this is the magazine. I know that was beautiful. I love it. And this makes me kind of sad, but he's only 74 years old. Downton Abbey creator Julian Fellows reveals he has an incurable and uncontrollable tremor that is often mistaken for Parkinson's disease. Fellows, this was written when he was 70. That was 4 years ago, of course. Told Lorraine Kelly he is suffering from an essential tremor. He said he also gave his much loved Downton Abbey Carson the condition following his own. I'm following. Okay, follows. Oh, Fellows urged anyone suffering similar symptoms to visit a doctor. So, if you all watch Downton Abbey, And you remember Carson, the butler, he had that tremor going on. He said it ran in the family, whatever. Well, I didn't know that Julian Fellows was suffering, but 74 and he's in a wheelchair. I don't think he had an accident. At least I don't know of one. But I was just so surprised to see that. This is the Chelsea Flower Show. And um, if you don't recognize those other people, I think that's his wife pushing him in a wheelchair. That is Michael, Prince Michael of Kent. He seems to have a pretty bad time walking these days. And then that is the one that wore the racist brooch, the one with the Nazi father, Princess Michael of Kent, who has done the world a favor and pulled that hat down over her face. She should walk around in shame. But yeah, I did not know that Julian Fellows was in such bad shape. That's a cute bag he has, though, right? You see the handbag he has? That's cute. I'm just kidding. That's probably his wife's bag. But, oh, okay. I did not know that. I thought it was just like with the hands, but so I wonder what makes it different from Parkinson's disease. Big mad. Are they mad or are they big mad? And she don't have to give those gifts back. They're not going to go to the courtiers. She gets to keep her gifts. Although Megan is going to give some of that stuff away to her staff. Anyway, poor Julian Fellows. I had no idea. Now, somebody needs to lose their job. I'm serious, you guys. Listen to me. Listen to me. Now, I know we have our, we're indifferent about Camilla and that she has done some terrible, terrible things in life, but even she doesn't deserve this. Do you guys know why it's such a bad idea for her to go to the flower show and to stand inside of something that looks like it's on a farm? I just think whoever did this needs to lose their job. They need to lose their job because they have done a terrible, awful, disrespectful thing to her. I just don't understand why anybody would do something like that. Amber Rowan, horse is a horse is a horse, of course. A horse is a Mr. Ed. Yes. Why would somebody have Camilla looking like Mr. Ed? Why did they do that to that woman? Why? Why? Is she that terrible that someone would put her in the same situation as Mr. Ed? When I saw this, the first thing that came to my mind was Wilbur. Wilbur. Oh, somebody needs to lose their job because Camilla got a new dress on. She's got a new haircut, which looks just like the thousand haircuts before. She's put on some extra makeup, everything. She wanted today to be very special. Now, she managed to get rid of that social climbing Kate Middleton. So, what could possibly go wrong? Well, I'm going to tell you what went wrong. They put her in a barn. They put her in a barn. Now, that's just rude, isn't it? Somebody needs to lose their job because they have done her a very bad turn. I know it is actually a good look for her, isn't it? She hasn't looked that good in a while. I agree. I agree. As much as it pains me to admit it, she looks good for Camilla. Wilbur. Anyway, it's not the first time that Queen Consort Camilla has been humiliated. She really has to stop hanging around barns. I think that hanging around farms and barns and stables and stuff is going to get her in trouble every time. So she really ought to be careful. And anyway, she had a good laugh about it when somebody told her how terrible that was. You can see right here, she's having a good laugh about it because that's just how she is. You know, Camilla, she doesn't sweat the small details. And so right here, she's here, here. See her laughing. Here. Yeah. You just give her a couple of sugar cubes and a carrot, and she'll just laugh it right off. Okay, so I have a little sound bite for you guys. And if you're interested in knowing, I think we're almost done. We're almost done. So let me play this for you. Okay. So let me do that.
And I'm so surprised for people that you said don't add anything to the royal purse, they don't contribute anything. You're happy they left your cold and dairy island. Why are you so up in their business?
Exactly. I think they're very snotty people. I said it. They're very snotty, the Brits. It's okay.
They can't believe
Meghan and
biracial
exactly can be now in the royal family lineage. My guys, deal with it. That is the reality of the day. It has been reality since. The wedding of Harry and Meghan attracted over how many billion views? I remember. My people, we are all evolving. We talk about evolution on the show, and this is it.
But this is where you get it wrong. We're all supposed to be evolving. They missed a very fantastic opportunity with Meghan Markle coming into the British family to show evolution, to step into the 21st century.
That is why Harry is dying there, because Harry has seen that, listen, there's another way to look at this. We're expanding our horizons, and whether you like it or not, despite everything that has worked against them, they have stood together, chasing the causes that they believe in.
But I know that the British aristocracy is dying slowly.
Yes.
These are just feeble
Literally.
attempts to keep it alive. The world have moved on. They've evolved over time. And, it's just a monument that they're servicing quietly. And now that these people are out of their aristocracy, they keep following them, they keep hounding them. And why badmouth us?
Why badmouth us? One of the things we noticed from this visit is that because Harry and Meghan did not give the normal British media access, they were actually sending DMs. I don't know if you saw the pictures. They were sending DMs to Nigerians who actually were at the events that the prince and princess were, and they were asking for permission to use their footage and their pictures because they blacklisted. You don't want us, we don't want you.
Exactly.
Like, to be honest, right? When I saw that, the whole comment, I just knew that it was not about Nigerians. It wasn't about Nigeria. It's just the fact that, just like Tolu said, when he even compared them to, compared Nigeria to Nazi, and then he talked about the
Islamic
Prince of Windsor, something like that.
British media has made them enemies, and I'm so surprised.
Okay. There you go. So I guess this is like kind of like The View or Loose Women, but as you can see, in a very eloquent and I suppose, very direct way. They said what they meant and they meant what they said. So, and there's more. There's more than that, but I like them. I like them. Let me see. Maybe one more. Maybe one more. Let me see.
Focusing on Prince Andrew, who was involved with one of the biggest sex scandals.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay, maybe not that one.
Focusing on Prince Andrew.
Okay, maybe not that one. Okay, let me try something else.
Together, chasing the causes that they believe in.
But I know that the British aristocracy is dying slowly.
Yes.
These are just evil
Literally.
attempts to keep it alive. The world have moved on. They've evolved over time. And, it's just a monument that they're servicing quietly. And now that these people are out of their aristocracy, they keep following them, they keep hounding them. And why badmouth us?
Why
badmouth us?
One of the things we noticed from this visit is that because Harry and Meghan did not give the normal British media access, they were actually sending DMs. I don't know if you saw the pictures. They were sending DMs to Nigerians who act.
Okay, I think that's kind of the same. Let me see if this other one is different.
Charles, who is Prince Charles then, but now King Charles now, was in Nigeria 4 times, in 1990, 1999, 2006, and 2018. So what made us acceptable then that doesn't make... The only difference is that it is Harry and Meghan.
Yes,
The only difference is because this British media has made them enemies. And I'm so surprised for people that you said don't add anything to the royal purse, they don't contribute anything, you're happy they left your cold and deary island. Why are you so up in their business?
I think they're very snotty people. I said it.
Okay, yeah. It's like they got 4 different clips, but I think the longer one had everything. Yeah, you know what, Marshar? Barbara Walters needed 4 women to do what Oprah was doing all by herself. Because, there was a lot of competition between Barbara and Oprah. So Barbara's like, I always wanted to do a show. She said, I always wanted to do a show with different women of different wages and backgrounds. Okay, I'm not going to make fun of Barbara Walters tonight. Be careful what you ask for. That's what she said. Be careful what you ask for. What did I ask for? That's what she said on the opening of the Beauty. I always wanted to do a show with women of different wages and backgrounds. Be careful what you ask for. Okay, so Brother Misan Harriman, here's yet another impressive photo that he shared with us today, and that included, or should I say that features ballet dancers. Yeah, ballet dancers. So dramatic, isn't it? So dramatic. I mean, these artists they seem to have been elevated by Misan's camera. And so, as I mentioned the other day, that it seems really cool because of the way he plays with the light and shadow. Well, here's the explanation right here. This image of the 3 ballet dancers is really just about the play with light. On one, you can see the light coming from the left and an incredible, and an incredible back. Yeah, that's what it says. One crotch down, and then the third, where you can barely see their silhouette, is from Ballet Black. And when I observed this amazing dance house with their lines, with my lens, there are always very few light sources, which makes it technically difficult, but the results always feel really special. And this is what he's talking about right here. This is what he's talking about. And this is actually the one I shared with you the other day. So nice going, Misan. Now, this is really, really touching. Probably the most astonishing, beautiful gift I've ever received. I found this canoe handmade by a friend um, over many months by the lake at Althorpe House. Something for you to visit your sister in, he said. Out of words, I could only cry at the beauty of that thought. Look at that boat. Look at that boat. It's a canoe, of course, and he made that so that Charles Spencer would be able to go and visit Diana's grave. You know, usually they put like a walkway, like a pier. And I think they do that once a year. They'll put a pier that crosses over to the island, which is in the middle of this little lake on the property. Well, now, at any given time, he can just hop in the canoe and just paddle his way over. So that is a very, very kind gesture. Look at there. That is a thing of beauty. It is almost as much art as it is a canoe. Very functional piece of art. Yeah, it wasn't that sweet, so that he'd be able to go and visit his sister's grave. Okay, so this is the last thing we have for today. Space, the final frontiers. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, a crew of men and women who set forth to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Ooh, whoosh, whoosh, ooh, Anyway, space, the final frontier. It is the final frontier. Isn't that a beautiful image of Earth? I mean, from up there, from a distance, we're all friends. But when you get up close, then, you see what the real deal is. Well, back in the 1960s, this is a story that haunts me every time I think about it. At age 90, America's first Black astronaut candidate has finally made it to space. That's right. He has finally gone into space. Ed Dwight, the man who 6 decades ago nearly became America's first Black astronaut, made his first trip into space at age 90 on Sunday, along with 5 crewmates on board Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. The liftoff from the West Texas launchpad site marked the first passenger flight in nearly 2 years for the commercial space venture run by billionaire Jeff Bezos. The approximately 10-minute suborbital flight put Dwight in the history books as Dwight, let me see. Did this cut off in the history books as Dwight? Oh, well, shares the capsule with Mason Angel, a venture capitalist. I don't care about those other people. The rocket reached more than 347,000 feet, crossing the 330-foot high Kármán line, the imaginary line that denotes the boundary of space. They experienced a few brief moments of weightlessness. Soon after the New Shepard booster touched down in the clouds of dust near the launch site, the crew capsule landed under let me see, under 2 of his 3 parachutes, with the redundant chute failing to fully deploy. Emerging from the capsule, a beaming Dwight shook 2 fists in the air in triumph. Fantastic, a life changing experience. Everyone needs to do this, he remarked. I didn't know I needed this in my life, but now I need it in my life. He said the separation of the rocket and the capsule was more dramatic than I anticipated. So, if you don't know his story, let me fill you in. This guy was supposed to go into space. Remember the great space race when John F. Kennedy said that by the end of the decade, we're going to put a man on the moon? Well, at that time, the Kennedy administration selected a qualified Black candidate who, of course, was in the U.S. Air Force to join the astronaut program. But then, as you know, back in 1963, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And so, without ceremony, without explanation, he was removed from astronaut training. Again, without explanation, he was removed from astronaut training. And so he was very hurt by this. They gave him no explanation for it, at least not a reasonable explanation. And so rather than allowing himself to drift into despair and possible substance abuse or something like that, he became a very prominent sculptor. And you can see some of his work right there. This guy has made a lot of money in his lifetime and has so much prestige because of his talent as an artist. So that just goes to show that you can have one incredible, amazing career, and then because of a situation not of your control, you can go on to another amazing career. So I just love this guy. He's not bitter or upset about it anymore. He's moved on. But you know, Jeff Bezos, the person that people love to hate, obviously had some type of consideration of this guy, that he was able to fulfill a lifetime dream of going into space. He's 90 years old now. 90 years old. He could have, left this world many years ago and never have been able to have this moment. So I'm so happy for him. But yeah, and I think it was the test pilot Chuck Yeager, the big American hero. I think it was Chuck Yeager. He was one of the people at NASA that allegedly saw to it that no Black man could ever make it into space, which of course, finally that did happen, but not on his watch, should I say. But yeah, you guys remember the movie Hidden Figures? Well, this is a hidden figure that a lot of people did not know exists, but he does, and he's still alive, and he is not just surviving that humiliation, he is thriving. But that had to be humiliating. And then when people say, why does it always have to be about race? Why do we always have to talk about race? Could you imagine going through all that it takes to be a pilot in the Air Force and then to go through the training to go into space? And because President Kennedy was no longer alive and the Johnson administration came to town, or came into fruition, they decided to use that confusion to just unceremoniously remove him from his post. You're done. That's why it's all about race. There was no logical reason why this man was removed from the space program, but they did it because they could. They did it because that little voice inside, the voice of the white supremacists who do not feel like a man of color, and in particular, a black man, deserves to have equal protection under the law, equal access in the workplace. They just could not imagine him being in that space. And this is what the Sussex Squad pushbacks against every day. We push back against this notion that Meghan does not belong. She's not worthy of. She just don't understand our ways. That's why it matters. That is why it matters. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this the safe space as it is today. Very important to the growth of this channel, and I am in deep appreciation of that. Also, thank you for everyone who has a membership, which starts at just $4.99. That also goes a long way to make sure that Royal Sussex is possible. So I thank you for that. So anyway, I think we're good for the last word. Thank you, Vonzola. Thank you. The reason why it's always about race is because it is about race. Exactly. At the time, I think there were like about 160 million people in the United States. And out of that 160 million people, there were millions of Black people, African Americans, who worked and paid their way into a system that was not always so kind to us. And those people deserve to have someone who looks like them in that space program. So when it comes to affirmative action, I'm all for it. As I said, a qualified Black candidate for the program. See, when we lost Kennedy, we lost a lot. We lost Kennedy, we lost a lot. There's so many things that Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, John F. Kennedy, and even Lyndon Johnson, Jimmy Carter. There's so many things that Democrats have done for the Black community. And there's so many people that are determined to rewrite that history. They're determined to rewrite that history. And I'm not saying that all of those people were the best people in the world, although Jimmy Carter, I think, is without fault. I told you he's the only honest president I've ever known. But there's so many things that have come from the Democrat Party. And we're allowing these right-wingers to rewrite the history. We're just sitting back and letting them have their lies, and you know, we know what a Dixiecrat is. We know what a Dixiecrat is. That's a Democrat who is as racist as the day is long. But they wanted our votes, and they wanted to make sure that we would vote for them. And we got a lot of things in exchange for it. It wasn't always because it's what they wanted to do. Sometimes it was what they had to do for our votes. But either way, it worked out. Thank you again, Vonzola. Okay, so there we have it. And we'll let my Star Trek speech be the last word for today. And as usual, we always think about the queens that matter the most, the mothers, the moms that created those extraordinary people that reared them with intelligence, wit, kindness, thoughtfulness, activists, if you will. Ooh, yeah, Rita, I was thinking something like that. That would be a reason to want to stay in the shadows, I'm sure. I couldn't blame her, but I still think the public has a right to know. Full disclosure. Full disclosure. Okay. Love you guys. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. And we will end with Madam Duchess. We're going to end with Madam Duchess.
We're going to begin this hour with NASA planning to launch its Artemis 1 moon mission this Saturday. We're taking a look back at a key moment in the history of the space program. Ed Dwight Jr. was almost the first Black astronaut in space. He was selected by President John F. Kennedy to join the astronaut program, but was not ultimately picked for the famed 1969 Apollo mission to the moon. So you may be wondering, like I was, why are we doing a story about someone who almost was? Well, national correspondent Jerika Duncan spoke with Mr. Dwight about how that changed his life and his mission.
I sit down at the table over there to get it ready for casting.
Inside 88-year-old Ed Dwight's art studio in Denver, Colorado, is a collection of stories told through the sculptures he creates.
This is one of the Buffalo Soldiers. He was Corporal Clinton Greaves, and he was one of the 18 Medal of Honor winners during the Indian fighting days.
But before Dwight became an artist dedicated to memorializing notable figures in Black history, he had hopes of making history of his own in space.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
When President John F. Kennedy decided to take one step for man, he also made plans to send the first Black astronaut to the moon and thought Ed Dwight was a star.
when I got this letter, November the 4th, 1961, offering me this opportunity to be the first Negro astronaut, I thought these dudes were crazy. Why me? I mean, what in the world is this all about? You know, and I said, no. I mean, my first reaction to it was, that's the nuttiest thing I ever heard.
At the time, Dwight was a 27-year-old Air Force pilot who had to be convinced to take the leap.
I consulted my mother, and my mother's telling me about all this stuff that I could do as a symbol and think of.
Okay, you guys, I am going to put this in the community tab. So if you want to finish watching it, I'm going to put it in the community tab for you so that you can see the report that I saw on CBS about a year ago. Okay, I am putting it there right now. It's the last thing that I posted. This is it. So you can go over there and watch it. Leave a comment if you like, but it's only about 10 minutes long. So check it out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Good night.